In the long river of Soviet history, there was a leader known for his bold reforms and dramatic foreign policies. He was Nikita Khrushchev. From de-Stalinization to the Cuban Missile Crisis, from the promotion of corn cultivation to the glory of the space race, Khrushchev's tenure was filled with controversy and change. Today, let's delve into the complex world of this Soviet leader and explore his achievements and failures. Khrushchev, a name full of controversy. His reform attempts and foreign policies not only changed the Soviet Union, but also affected the entire world. Today, we will delve into the complex legacy of this leader and reveal the stories behind his actions. During Stalin's era, the Soviet Union focused heavily on heavy industry, neglecting agriculture. Before World War II, the Soviet Union faced a severe famine, and during the war, German forces occupied the main grain-producing regions, exacerbating the already fragile agricultural situation. Even after the victory, in 1945, famine continued to plague the country, with instances of cannibalism in some areas. During Stalin's era, the Soviet Union focused heavily on heavy industry, neglecting agriculture. Before World War II, the Soviet Union faced a severe famine, and during the war, German forces occupied the main grain-producing regions, exacerbating the already fragile agricultural situation. Even after the victory, in 1945, famine continued to plague the country, with instances of cannibalism in some areas. While governing Ukraine, Khrushchev encouraged farmers to use the square planting method for corn, which resulted in a bountiful harvest. This success piqued his interest in corn. In 1949, after being transferred to Moscow as the first secretary of the Central Committee, he began promoting corn cultivation in nearby farms with similar success. These experiences led him to consider a nationwide corn planting campaign in the Soviet Union. In September 1959, Khrushchev was invited to the United States by President Eisenhower. During his visit, he specifically toured the famous corn-growing Gast farm, witnessing the vast cornfields on the North American plains. This trip further solidified his intention to vigorously promote corn cultivation in the Soviet Union. Despite Khrushchev's grand vision of a corn-powered Soviet Union, reality dealt him a heavy blow. Most regions of the Soviet Union did not have the favorable geographical conditions of the American Corn Belt, and corn failed to thrive due to unsuitable climates and soils. Local agricultural leaders, under pressure to meet impossible corn planting targets, resorted to fraud, creating a wave of exaggeration. Some even imported large ears from abroad to falsely report harvests and deceive the Prime Minister. In 1962, millions of hectares of Soviet land suffered from wind erosion. Additionally, the extensive planting of corn, a crop that depletes soil nutrients, without timely fertilization and without the support of water conservancy facilities, led to the exhaustion of the land in the reclaimed areas, reduced grain production, and the forced halt of the reclamation movement. During the promotion of corn cultivation, Khrushchev's policies faced harsh realities. In the early 1960s, the Soviet Union once again faced a grain shortage, forcing it to purchase grain from Western countries. The party's secretary of Ryazan Oblast, in an attempt to meet Khrushchev's ambitious goals for animal husbandry to surpass the United States, falsified reports, slaughtering all the livestock in Ryazan and purchasing meat from across the country to meet targets, yet still fell far short. When the fraud was exposed, the party secretary committed suicide, and the incident became a notorious scandal. Although Khrushchev's corn campaign started with good intentions, it ultimately failed due to the forced implementation without considering objective conditions, leading to severe consequences. The Soviet agricultural issues were not fundamentally resolved. Instead, the failure of corn cultivation exacerbated the grain crisis. Khrushchev was mockingly referred to as Kukurushka by the Soviet people, which means corn cob in Russian. Despite this, the grain problems during Khrushchev's era improved significantly compared to Stalin's time, indicating that his reforms were not entirely without merit. From a historical perspective, Khrushchev's corn campaign may have failed, but his reform attempts and attention to agricultural issues are still worth remembering and reflecting upon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more historical insights. Until next time, keep exploring the past.